Welcome to day 27 of our free 30-day Get Up and Go challenge to make changes and challenges automatic, as easy as breathing for you and for me. We are going through the SOAP framework today, and we are covering the area of contribution in our life. Remember, we've got physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence. We've covered all of them except contribution and communication. We'll do contribution today, communication tomorrow, and we're going to apply the SOAP framework, the story, the options, the action, and the progress to each of these areas and aspects of our life. So we can run through an example and you can understand and then practice at home running through an example of something in your life. Now, this is one of my favorite days. Contribution is all about who we really are, what we're here to provide to the world, how we show up, our legacy, what's important to us. It's about really getting to know ourselves and what we're here to do, what we stand for, what we don't stand for, or what we stand against. It's our battle cry, our mantra, our motto, our code of conduct, our slogan. I guess if we were to have our own slogan, this is the tool that we're going to use today. And you can call it whatever you want. You can create a motto, a slogan, an advertising line or campaign like advertisers do for different brands. But it's really the heart of the matter of what are you all about? And that's how you contribute to the rest of the world. The way I like to get at this particular one, as I'm thinking of my story, and you might say, well, my story is I have no idea who I am. I don't know what I stand for. I don't have a motto or a mantra or a code of conduct or a battle cry or something that people would get behind. I don't even know what I stand for or I stand against. Well, then that's where you are right now. It's like, hey, I've never even thought about having my own personal, and it ties into having a personal brand, or just, I think it ties into just being yourself and showing up in the world as only you uniquely can, and understanding that we are, each and every one of us, 100% responsible for the life that we create, for the impact we have on ourselves as well as on other people in other parts of the world. And one way to represent that, and even if you don't know what yours is, I guarantee there's people close to you that know where you're at right now. Now, where you're at right now might not be where you want to be. One thing I learned after my sudden cardiac arrest was all of us have this primary question. And I'd heard about this before from Tony Robbins and some other gurus, but I never really thought about it or paid any attention to it until I had my sudden cardiac arrest. And as I was thinking about it in recovering from that and doing through cardiac rehab and everything, I realized that my primary question, and it ties kind of into this motto, code of conduct, what do you stand for, what do you stand against, what's your legacy, why are you here topic. The primary question, mine was WTF. So every time I looked at any situation, the first question that popped into my mind was, well, what the F? Now, if you don't know what the F is, ask me privately, but I think most of us know what WTF stands for. So if I am coming at everything in my life from the position, if I'm asking WTF, that means I've already decided that there's something wrong. Not a great way to start dealing with life or dealing with problems or dealing with challenges. Is automatically assuming that something is wrong and that it has to be fixed. But that's how I was living my entire life. Now, after that incident, I spent quite a bit of time, and this is one of those self-discovery activities that's probably going to take you more than one day if you haven't spent any time about it or thought about it before. But it took me, I think, a few weeks before I came up with a better question. And my question became, what am I creating now? Now I've changed and tweaked it a little bit since then, but what am I creating now is a much more powerful question than WTF. And it started to get me different results and better results. Now, then over the years, I started learning about mantras and battle cries and what do we stand for and what do we stand against and what's our code of conduct? Where do we draw that line in the sand in terms of what is acceptable behavior for us and what is unacceptable behavior for us? Because guess what? We can judge other people. We can get mad at politicians because they behave in unethical, immoral, illegal ways. But guess what? We can't do anything about that. Probably each of us as individuals, together collectively we can, but individually maybe not so much. But it doesn't matter because we're only really responsible for ourselves and our own line in the sand and our own code of conduct and our own ethics and our own morals and our own values and our own what it is and how we want to show up in the world. And it's different for each and every one of us. So how do we use this to identify our soap and use our soap framework to get from where we are to where we want to be. Well, what's the story you're telling yourself right now? Hey, have you done some work on this? Do you know what your primary question is? I certainly didn't know what mine was, but I like to get at this by looking for examples in the world around me, looking for people that I admire, modeling them, and seeing what they stand for and what they do. And it's really interesting. It's pretty easy to look at famous people and know what they stand for, what their legacy is, what they're here for. Think of billionaires. What are they here for? What do they stand for? You know, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Mark Zuckerberg, you know, and Sam Walton, whether you agree with them or not, Warren Buffett, Ray Kroc. Remember Ray Kroc from the McDonald's days? I mean, you may not agree with them at all, but if you think about them and you hear their name, you can form opinions about what their legacy is, what their motto is, what their code of conduct, what their mantra, what their battle cry, whatever you want to call it, was or is. We can look at brands like Nike, you know, just do it. We can look at different brands that we admire and think about, well, what's their slogan? What's their motto? What do they stand for? Or what are they representing that they stand for? You know, not all companies really do what they say they're going to do, but we wish that they would. But what are they purporting to support or stand for? If you think of people in your life, you'll know what their mottos were or what they stand for. My Aunt Robbie, for example, a saying she'll always be famous for, and she lives her life this way, is what's money compared to fun. When she was a little girl, she said that to my grandpa, and we've told the story thousands of times, but she lives her life that way. What is money compared to fun and the experience? My dad used to say, hugs aren't any good if you keep them, and there's no such thing as can't. I will forever remember my father for those two mantras, those two slogans, those two phrases, those things he always said, you know, that and write down your goals. He said, like, my dad was a fountain of wisdom, and so there's lots of things that he said. You know, even each state has its own slogan or mantra. So, you know, religions do, dogmas do, leaders do. Think of Gandhi or Mother Teresa, or I like Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, and people like that. But whatever you aspire to be and how you decide to show up in the world, apply the SOAP framework to it, using modeling other people, and then pick something that resonates and feels right to you, and then ask yourself, how do I feel about this? How do I know? Get feedback from other people. If you're not sure with respect to your story and what your slogan is and what your legacy is and what you stand for, ask people around you, because they will probably know. It's really interesting. With my sudden cardiac arrest, my daughter and my sisters and my parents were laying bets on what my first words were going to be when I came out of the coma after that event. And of course, the first thing out of my mouth was WTF. And so even though I wasn't consciously aware of what my past code of conduct and mantra was, my entire family knew, even though it wasn't conscious to me. And that was part of what made me wake up to that and start studying this and looking into it. Now, what is my motto? What do I want to be known for? The phrase, be loving, love being, be you. That is, since my sudden cardiac arrest, that is my personal, I try to live by that. That's my mantra. And it means a lot to me. I mean, it's just 6 words, but it means a lot more than the 6 words that you see. It means behave in a loving manner toward other people, love existing in the present moment and make the most of it, and then be yourself, always be yourself, and a whole lot more, but that's just mine. So our action item today is to go through the SOAP framework, thinking about things like battle cries, mantras, what you stand for, what you stand against. You know, politicians, maybe you're a MAGA person, maybe you're a Trump hater. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're a Biden person, maybe you're a Biden hater. So politicians have their slogans. You know, MAGA, Make America Great Again, was a slogan. So use that and figure out what are you currently standing for, and is it what you want, and what do you really, really want to stand for? I really want to be loving, love being, and be myself, be you. I really want that in my life, and I'm always moving toward that. So what are you known for? Share in the comments below. And if you don't know, say, I went through the SOAP framework. I thought about this. I thought of different brands and famous people and what they're doing. And I'm not there yet. I don't know what mine is. But share that in the comments below as well. Have fun with this. This is something that can take a while. And so don't beat yourself up with it if you can't figure it out right away. Again, I spent probably weeks and months and years coming up with my original one. Once I, it took me weeks to go from WTF to what am I creating now? And then Be Loving, Love Being, Be You came after that. So just keep in mind that this is a bunch of tools and things that obviously work for billionaires, super successful companies. So why don't we apply this same thing in our own personal lives? All right, any questions, ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. And of course, we are going to do communication and apply the SOAP framework to that because it's such a foundational area of our life. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll be with you tomorrow.